I have been thinking because I'm getting ready to move, and moving is like really. They say it's one of the biggest traumas in life. It's like losing the death of somebody you love, and so I'm really trying to avoid that sensation of panic and oh my god, which is exclusively an American thing, but I noticed that my Mexican friends are not quite as concerned as I tend to, or my neighbor who I lived a very long time. She's actually Argentinian, but she lived a very, very long time in the United States. And she's really a wonderful lady, but she certainly lost her mind for the last day or two. I mean, she's like incoherent. So she's she is not adapted to the Mexican way of life. Mexicans do not worry about every single possibility. They don't try and cover every possible consequence of a situation that could be negative, which is very much an American thing. We have insurance for everything. And because I am in my 80s, I grew up in a time when there was insurance for everything. Medical insurance was very recent. I think the first time I really knew about it was like in the late 70s. But certainly as I grew up, there was no need for it. The doctor came to your house for a visit. I don't know what it cost, but apparently it was affordable because the doctor could come to your house if there was some issue why we couldn't go to the office. And we had no seatbelts in cars. I mean, the car. My mother was driving the car to short stop. She just threw her arm across me to keep me from going through the windshield. Now I laugh about that. And I do know that it was a terrible thing, and people were always going through the windshield before they had seatbelts and also airbags. But I'll still see kids riding in the back of an open truck, for instance. That's not against the law here. That's not against the law. It's not a law that you have to wear a helmet on a motorcycle, although I have to say, in the last 5 years, I've noticed I rarely see anybody who's not wearing a helmet on their brain, not on their head, not on their Mexico. And so I think that those people caught on. They just said, okay, I don't want to fall off and not be able to get up again. But it's not a law. They don't have these kinds of laws down here. There's not a law, but for instance, if you want to buy a house, you must buy fire insurance in the United States. They don't require that here. You don't have to buy fire insurance. Why? Well, a lot of the times it's because people pay cash for homes down here in Mexico and inland. Some homes are quite expensive. I don't know what they do. I'm talking about people who spend up to maybe $100,000 on a home, or $250,000 if you're an American. You've come in with some cash from your home that you sold in the United States. It's an option. I could buy fire insurance if I want, and window insurance if I wanted. And I tried it for 1 year. I did that, and I paid, I think, $200. It was a few years ago. And I just thought, this is a cement block house with tiled floors. What's going to burn? And I just dropped the insurance, and hello, the house is still standing. There hasn't been a fire. And all the houses I ever owned in the United States, which are about 10 or 11 of them, we always had fire insurance. And guess what? They're all still standing, except for the ones that were torn down to build condominiums. So there's not that sense of fear in everything that you do down here. I don't worry. I'm about to move, and I can't even believe that I'm doing this. I bought a lot. I bought a lot with no services. By a lot, I don't know how to explain that. It's got no service. It's got no drainage. It has no water. Has no electric. I have to get all of that put in. I might be having anxiety as I tell you this. But it will happen. It will happen. And so that I don't fret about it, I've rented a small casita from someone I've known for years south of here, where I used to live in Punta Banda, for a couple of weeks, just in case I don't have drainage. Drainage is a rather important thing. You can't flush a toilet without drainage, so we want drainage, number one. I can manage without electricity during the day, but so, I'm depending on a lot of different people for that to happen. And if it doesn't happen, I'm going to have to stay where I am. But I'm not kind of as panicked as I would be about it in the United States, because one of the reasons we have an insurance in the United States is because things are very expensive. And when I was growing up, things weren't that expensive. We didn't have to insure our cars for a 2-year warranty or a 3-year warranty for some sort of mechanical issues, because we could go to a mechanic. In fact, I had an uncle who was a mechanic, and this goes back to community, which they have here. When I speak to my assistant about something, she says, oh, I'll ask my husband, or I'll ask a friend, or I'll ask my sister. She doesn't think I'm going to look on Facebook, or I'm going to look in the directory to find a stranger to do whatever it is I've asked her about. I'm going to move in a few weeks. My neighbor who's using her moving man, who she knows from the past, he will come over. So that's like a recommended person. I fall into the same thing. I now ask friends, who do you go to? If I need a dentist, who do you go to? Things are just more affordable. I actually do not have health insurance here, and I do not have Medicare here. I gave it up in 2019. I hope this is not a curse talking about it. I'm superstitious? No, I'm not. I am half Italian, though, and part Jamaican. And that I do come from a long history of superstitious people. So I go to a cardiologist like once every 6 months. It was once every 4 months, but now it's once every 6 months. And I get an EKG while I'm there. They weigh me. They take my blood pressure. Then the doctor himself administers a echocardiogram. He does a full exam, my eyes, my ears, pumps on me, puts taps here, uses a stethoscope. All of that costs me about 1,000 pesos, which is approximately right now around, I think, $60. $60 wouldn't even cover my deductible in the States. Plus, I don't know who I'd be seeing. I see the same man all the time. And he speaks English. And he was educated in England at Oxford. So, I feel like affordability is what's underneath all this fear of what if. What if I have a car accident? What if my washing machine breaks down? What if? We live in a what if society in the United States. I live there. And I lived a lot of what ifs. What if? What if I don't pay my mortgage this month? What if I don't pay for my phone or cable this month? What if? Here, by the way, with water, you could go for a year without paying your water down here because water is a basic life necessity. They will not turn off your water. They will turn off your electricity. In about a month or two, they'll turn off your electricity, but they won't turn off your water. So I think that there's a lot more emphasis on the quality of life. That's what I feel about here. And a difference in the culture is that, stress kills. Stress kills. And practically nobody down here has health insurance. They go to a general hospital. Even people who have money go to a general hospital. I'm looking right now. This is my big thing. I'm trying to find a tetanus shot down here. And somebody I know who said to me, there's a public health place you can go to. I went, public health place? I've never been to a public health place in my life. But I'm going to go. And I'll let you know how that works out.